Good afternoon, everybody. How you doing? It's me, Paddy from across the shuck, and you're very welcome back to the channel. So, I've been sort of thinking quite a lot recently. I've stopped spending big money on knives. Well, I'm saying I've stopped buying as many high-end knives as what I had been there for a while, and there's a couple of reasons for that. This could go on to a bit of a rant. I don't know, but I had got. I had about hundreds of knives, and when I'm saying 100, plus 500 knives, probably quite a bit over the plus 500. But I mean, that was over years and years of collecting and being a YouTuber. Because you buy knives being a YouTuber, they're not always something that you want to keep forever. But we buy them. And I had done that over the years, just gradually building up, saving and building at knives given to me by companies that I would have sponsored. And then I pass them on and I get a nice little profit. I could buy more expensive knives. So that's went on for a few years. But I've come to a halt with that. I don't take many sponsorships now because I like the sponsors you ever see me on the channel now are things that I genuinely love. Be they budget or be they mid-range or be they high-range. They're things that I like and I really do appreciate their value. And that's another thing. I have never got rid of a lot of my cheaper knives that I used to have. Because to me, they're still part of my journey, and some of them this wee one for instance, I still take out and use quite a lot because it's just so cheap to buy. If I'm doing a rough job outside, if I'm digging in the ground or something like that, and I'm using the knife to get down to roots or something, it's the sort of thing I'll go for. You know, even in the house, if I'm poking and prying behind wood or a sort of knife that I'm going to grab for, because I'm certainly not going to use a high-end knife. And I don't think many people do use their high-end knives for really rough stuff. I mean, I do use my high-end knives as working knives, but I wouldn't brutalise them just for the sake of brutalising them. I have cheaper knives that I'm going to use, and of course I'm going to use. I still get as much pleasure out of them. Maybe not as much stroking and affection pleasure that I get out of one of my higher end ones, but you know what I mean. So I was thinking, the other day on last week's podcast, which I thoroughly enjoyed, please go back and watch it if you do, Paddy and Pals podcast. It's on YouTube every week, Thursday at 7:30 UK time. Little plug. But last week's was particularly good because we're talking about value in knives. And I chose this little knife here. This little knife is now $9.99 on Whitby & Co. knives over here in the UK. Beautiful little Warncliffe, stainless steel, no idea what it is. Very cheap and basic wooden handle, which I've doctored. I've chipped away at this with just a knife, a little pen knife, and it just went down because this bolster used to stick out just level with the wood. So I've sanded the edges down a bit. I've cut this down in here, and now it's very comfortable and handy to use. In fact, incredibly comfortable. You wouldn't believe it. But I don't know what the steel is, but what I can say, and this is all that's important to me, I can get a really good edge on it, and this can cut through newspaper. Not a problem. It slices through newspaper. This is even weaker than newspaper. This is receipt paper, and a very thin receipt paper. Now, I had used this to cut things with that night. I was cutting wood, chopping wood and all. I never resharpened it, and it still cuts through very thin receipt paper. So this knife does hold an edge for what it is, a reasonably good time. So to me, it's still a good knife. This little Rough Rider here, this was under £10 when I bought it. It's brass. It's got 440A steel, which is a very good, usable, working steel. Stainless. So this is stainless as well. And then I have this one, which is a Tomahawk lamb's foot in wood. Now, I done a bit of jigging. I was mucking about. I didn't like it, so I didn't do any more, but still keep the knife. I was doing a bit with a Dremel just to see if I could do jigging. I can do it better than this now, but I just kept this because it's there. And I bought this in a farmer's shop down where I used to have my caravan. And when I first started buying them, were £5. They were in a sweetie jar at the end of the counter. There's just hundreds of them shoved in there. because the local farmers would have bought these for a fiver, used them till they were blunt, come in the next time they were getting an order and put another one on the order. And they just sold like hotcakes. More than most other knives will sell. But it was just a really well-made knife. I've had to hammer it a couple of times because it's got a bit loose and wobbly. And when I've used it in heavy, when I'm cutting wood or anything, I've had to hammer it. You can see, well, not so much in that one, but where I've battered this one, it was a bit loose. And I just dug the corner of the hammer in and just welted it. And it works. It's getting a wee bit loose again. I could probably do it again. But this is £5. They're now wildly increased to £6.50 when I bought this one. But I had stacks of them and I used to give them away to people who came round and wanted to talk about knives, not knife people. Here, stick that in your pocket and use it, see if you like it. Fantastic reason to have some knives at this price in your collection for people who come round, and we want to spread the love. We want to get people excited about knives again. Most people don't carry a wee pocket knife. This for £10, $9.99, is fantastic value. Half stop, good spring on it. The centering, look at that, right up the centre. So it's stainless steel, no idea what it is. 440A. I haven't tested to see if this would keep up with 440A, but that doesn't matter. What I'm telling you is I can get a really nice sharp edge on this. There's my thumbnail. I just like people to see this. Can you see that? It'll just shave my thumbnail. I can get curly cues up my thumbnail. It stays so sharp, or it gets so sharp. So it is very functional if that's what you actually want. But most of us don't want that. But having them in your collection just to show newcomers that they are around and to offer them to people. Here, try that. A teenager, give one to a teenager a little £10 knife. He doesn't know the difference. Like, I didn't really know the difference when I came into the knife world about all the fancy steels. You don't need M390 to cut a root out of a garden plant, to cut a stem off a rose. This will do them sort of jobs perfectly. Why I don't see the point and spend a whole lot of money for that sort of knife that's going to get to do mucky jobs. When I've got one of these, why not use it? I mean, it's just part of the collection. So what do you think out there? I think I'm going to initial it something like budget, cheap, or just crap. What do you think of knives like this? Do you keep them hanging about in your collection? I do, sometimes just to do a video like this, just to remind myself that before I came in here, the steel was absolutely nothing to do with a knife when I bought one. It was what it looked like. And that's the truth. It's just what it looked like. Or it was as much I had in my pocket and it just done. I made it do. And that's as simple as that. But what do you think? Do you still keep them in your collection? If you do, what's your favourite? These two would be some of my favourite under £10 knives because they both work. This one, not so much, but if it was a farmer, yeah, I can see why they're not going to spend any more than that because they just wreck them. But these two in particular, I think, are fantastic knives. But to take this one away, I fancied buying another cheap one. And I was so impressed with this, I ordered another one, and this is only $8.99 from Whitby Knives, and it just came in the other day, and I just wanted to see whether it would have been as good a quality as this one at $9.99. Is there a big difference? This is 10% cheaper. So, I mean, when you go with a £400 knife, that makes a hell of a lot of a difference if you buy the same knife at 10% cheaper. So I wanted to see what it was like. Now, it comes with a little bail. Look at the back spring on that. Look how nicely that is put together. It's got this same sort of top as this has. But this is what this used to look like. It was just, it was a bit, I think this one was a bit crooked as well. But yeah, it was actually on the same side. So it was a bit crooked, and these just come to an abrupt halt. I just shaved them down and tarted it up. So I decided to go for a different blade shape this time, and I went for a pen blade. Not as much snap in this. You can see that. It's not much snap at all. Now, I haven't even rinsed it out with a bit of oil yet. It might pick up. This one had a much stronger pull, which I liked anyway, as you know I would like. But it's a lovely little pen blade on it, or small spear, whichever you want to go. I call that more of a pen blade than anything else. But it's got, what is the cutting? The length of the blade is 2 3/4 with a cutting edge of just under 2 1/2, 2 3/8. but absolutely perfect to throw in your pocket, or if you want to clip it on your belt if you're working outside. It's just a cheap knife, but I believe it has the same steel as it has on this one. But the nice thing about this one, look how different the thickness is. This is a real little slicing machine. I mean, if you've got a little bar and you want to cut your lemons and all that, perfect little knife. If you're out anywhere and you want to slice through something, this is a great little slicer. Super thin blade. And like the fit and finish on a knife that's this cheap is absolutely fantastic. Now, where does it come from? China. And that's why it's cheap. But I mean, I reckon this wood, if I sanded it down and stained it like I did this, it'll maybe look a bit better. So I'll probably do that. I'll see. So this is $8.99. So again, I'm going on the fact there's probably the same steel that this is made from, but this is slicier. So I now have that slicey option. You know, even if you want to put it in your lunch box, this is stainless steel. You can cut your sandwiches. You're not going to worry about handing this to somebody if they want to borrow a knife to cut anything. So why should I do that when I have, I still have 275 odd knives in my collection? Why would I do it? Because they're there, and if you don't try some of these things, you'll never know. But again, I can give this, it's just something to give it. If the lowest price knives I've got are sort of 60, 70 pound, I can't afford to give them away to people on the basis that I would normally do. So I like having the likes of Rough Riders, Opinels, things like that. When somebody comes round and you can just give them something as they're leaving. I get so much pleasure out of doing that. There's nobody comes to my house and leaves with nothing. And what they leave with depends on what sort of a knife person they are. So I mean, that's just the way it is. And that's my pleasure. I love that. The other thing. Now, what do you call cheap or budget or whatever? What price is it? And it's like everything else. It's just the same with everybody. I mean, there's three of my, proper, you can call them proper pocket knives. Opinels. I love an Opinel. Still love an Opinel. Look at that for an elegant steak knife. Doesn't cost much money, but it's just beautiful. Different wood on it. You've got the lock on it. It is just a stunning, beautiful. And the wee lock, you can just lock it when it's down there. Oh, there you go. You just lock it over with a vibro lock. Super knife, safe in your pocket, safe in use. Just fantastic. Love Opinel. Here's a number 7 that one of my subs done for me. Look at that he done. Look at that beautiful sort of Chinese tree there. And then he done this on the blade, which I think is just lovely. And I really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. An easy open notch in the back. And then I have another one. This is a number 8 or a number 7? It's a number 8. So this is a number 8. And somebody had obviously broken the blade on it, but then they were clever. They just turned it into what do you want to call it? A sheep's foot? Yeah, I mean, it's a sheep's foot, but great if you're sitting whittling and you just want to eat any sheep's foot. They're absolutely perfect to use. Beautiful knife. He's done the handle again on this one. Whoever this was, don't think this was the same fella as this. I think it was just another fella that sent me this. I just think super, great little knives if you want to sit and whittle and at the side of the road, whatever you're going to do, just to have the different sort of knife. So I've got all the shapes that I want. This is only 3 of what I've got, but I've got all the different blade shapes. But I thought I wanted something different. When I was ordering that other knife, I just wanted to buy something else. So I bought myself, I've been doing a lot of camping or days out camping recently, and I thought this picnic knife. And I've seen this for years, but never thought of ordering it. It's a pen knife, but it's also got a fork and a spoon which just slot into the back of it. What a super knife to have in your car, to just leave it in your car. And it also comes with a little cloth that wraps them all up. And this is what it's like inside. Look at this lovely little cloth to wipe your knives after use or whatever and take it home. But it's got this lovely little elastic on it. You've got a little leather bound punched hole just to have this as a little cloth for cleaning your dishes or whatever. And inside you have an Opinel number 8 and you have 2 alternate utensils with it. And again, this you've got then for doing your wiping your cloth or whatever, just wiping your blade down after you've rinsed it in a stream or something, just to put it away, something to keep it there. So you have a number 8, which is a fantastic big blade for camp duties. It'll do all your cutting of your vegetables. Again, very, very slim, so it's a slicer. Does the edge last forever? No, it doesn't, but it'll certainly do you a meal or 2 or 3. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely lovely. You can eat your steak with it, and it locks, so it's a really handy little camp knife to have. But when you close this up, this is where these two are ingenious. And they have it in the car. You stop at the side of the road like me and the wife would do, and we'll get a chip, and they give you them stupid little wooden forks to eat your chips with. And all you do with this is insert it into there, and you have a fully functioning fork, and a good size fork. It's not good. You're gonna be fantastic. All you do is pull it out again. Oh, there you go. And then you want a cup of tea. You've used your power bank and you made a wee cup of tea. This is locked in, absolutely solid. A little spoon for doing your sugar, or if you want to eat something that's in a sloppy mixture, there you go. Just super. And again, then just unplug it. I think that is such a fantastic idea. So simple, but what a thing to keep in your day bag or whatever, and just if you carry a man purse, what a super little thing. You've got a built-in hanky to wipe anything that you've got. It doesn't have to be if these get dirty. It's just a hanky. Super. This costs £26. I think that is flipping amazing for a bargain. To make all this for 26 quid. This is Opinel, made in France. It's not Chinese, but they can do this for £26. I just think it's fantastic. And I'm genuinely excited about it. And I know that most of my friends are going, for God's sake, Paddy, and this is my knife friends, what the hell are you thinking of? Why are you buying? Because it just tickles me. It just excites me to be able to go out and buy knives of this quality for that stupid price. It is phenomenal. And then, $8.99, I've now got this lovely little pen blade, which is good for anything, opening letters, whatever you want to use it for. Some are a bit duffy, but it'll still work for a farmer. So there you go. It's still a working knife. It's not something that I would run to get, but the farmer still does. I like something with a bit of, it looks a bit nicer, but the price doesn't really matter. So what's that? Do you have knives of this quality and price in your collection? What's your favourite? Let me know your favourite, because you might have something I've never tried. So, these knives are just a tenner for simple little basic pen knives that I've used. And that's the important, I've used, and this steel sharpens really well. Doesn't last forever, but that doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter, because I don't do a lot of heavy work with it. It's mostly just cutting a tag or doing a box. It does cardboard boxes, no problem. You've got that geometry, which means more when you're cutting and slicing than anything else. So let me know what you think. What's your favourite £10 knife? You can buy your Opinels for that sort of price. But £26 for that, I just think it's fantastic. And it's probably my best budget buy this year. My best budget buy this year. What's your best budget buy? Let me know down below. I'm aware I've waffled on far too long over cheap knives, which probably I'm the only person who really does like finding them. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a wonderful day. And if you're not subscribed, please do. YouTube are killing me. I don't get paid by YouTube, so they're killing me. They're taking all the people off, older ones all off. Just check that you're still subscribed. If not, please subscribe. Really appreciate it. It doesn't cost anything, and it just lets you know when I'm making new videos. And like the video, but more importantly, comment. Let me know which budget knife you bought at around £10 that you really like. Take care. Bye-bye now.